In question 15, you're asked to transpose or rearrange each of the equations so that you have an answer that says D is equal to, R is equal to, or X is equal to. Now, in each of these instances, a lot of people will find it easier if we rewrite it so that the term in question is on the left-hand side. Now, I'm not doing anything weird or tricky here. I'm simply rewriting it to read from right to left. So S is equal to D divided by T becomes D on T, or D divided by T is equal to S. In the second instance, now when I do that with my students, I put the letter or there. Nothing tricky, just working it through. Might help some people work on this a little bit easier. Now in the first instance, I've got it divided by T, that is blocking the D being by itself. I multiply both sides by T to undo that. Notice here, I haven't bothered putting a multiplication sign. It's conventional in maths not to do that. The next instance, I've got a times R, I divide both sides by R. Now, in the third instance, I've rearranged that so the X term is on the left-hand side. Now, as you become more proficient, sometimes some teachers will actually just draw little arrows, meaning that that will become a minus S on the right-hand side. Now, what's stopping that X being by itself is a multiplication by negative D. Because you're a fair and reasonable person, I'll expect you to do that to both sides. Now the last little bit is a little bit messier. Or now, this type of work would be considered by your teacher as being at the A part of the syllabus. This is the type of question that can sometimes cause people concern. If you break it down and do it in little bits, quite often, more often than not, it works out okay. In the case of G, once again, I'm going to rewrite it so it reads from left to right. Now, in this instance, the L times the W is what's blocking the process, so I can write that in terms of H. So I'm going to divide both sides by L times W. So I'm cancelling that out as a lump sum, if you like. The last instance is a little bit messy because it will involve me taking the square root. Always rewriting it such that the subject, the R, is on the left-hand side. Dividing both sides by pi, that undoes the multiplication. Now the last step I've got to do is to use the square root. Take the square root of both sides. So it gives me R is equal to A divided by pi. Now, that is right on the cusp of the course, but it's a skill that can be very handy to have, particularly if you're going on in any field involving manipulation of equations.